Scandals in wrestling are happening constantly. We've recently had Raiden, one of the pretty rising up wrestlers, being exposed as the child porn distributor. We can also forget about people being stripped of titles for alleged cheating and people faking their debts, etc. Do you think these scandals will ever stop?
No, they're not gonna stop. I mean, it's
Why not?
like 2 or 3 years. We've been saying, man, it's just gonna stop for like 5 years almost. I mean, it's wishful thinking to think that the scandals are gonna stop because people are just shitty. And I hate to say this, because I know pro wrestling is filled with a lot of youngsters. I mean, the newer generation, I mean, it's getting a little rotten, and like everybody got a little bad attitude.
Do you believe, because of these scandals, that it is still worth to even join a wrestling?
Stay out of scandals, and yeah, just don't be a pedo or a cheater, and you're good. Oh, and don't be a racist too. That too.
Oh yeah, we failed to mention it, but it's a rising problem, especially these days.
Yeah, it's very easy to be racist, so don't do it.
Yeah. Do
I
you
haven't seen it. I
believe?
don't know.
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't seen a twit. I haven't seen a twit longer in a while. Now that I think about it, do people just like air people out differently now?
Tweet longer is actually gone.
Oh, really?
The
So how
site
do?
is gone. Yeah,
I did not know that. It's kind of sad.
yeah, it's gone for like 10 months now.
Shameful.
Yeah, ever
So
since Musk taken over.
how do people how do people get exposed now? What is it? Just like a Twitter blue?
Yeah.
You know? Okay.
Do you believe, in your honest opinion, that this community is actually doomed to collapse due to all of these accusations, racism, sex scandals, etc., coming out?
Um, I think. All right. Personally, I think the death of pro wrestling would come if just no, if not a single like decent developer is in the community. Which I don't think there will ever be a point where there's going to be a developer who's where there's not a single decent developer in the community, because there's always people developing and they're teaching other like their friends how to dev and whatnot, and like write scripts. I think the only way pro wrestling truly dies is if there's no decent production. Because if the production dies, then I think we're falling backwards when it comes to like, yeah, this is just sword fighting now.
Do you believe that this community can be saved from toxicity, or is it doomed to become like the shithole of Roblox?
So I don't. It's kind of hard to call pro wrestling the biggest shithole in all of Roblox because I mean there's hundreds of communities in Roblox, and I think there's probably so many that we haven't even like seen. And Roblox is available, I think, probably all over the world anyway. So, I mean, there's crazy amounts of people who are creating their own communities, and they probably are 10 times worse than pro wrestling. Um, I think pro wrestling is it can definitely come back from the toxicity. It just all depends on people being good people and just stop being such assholes.
What can fan owners realistically do to stop the threats, I'm sorry, from getting toxic? Are there any real options or tools which fan owners can use to prevent toxicity from coming to their fans?
Um, I think, yeah, actually, I think being a great Fed owner in terms of being a good leader, um, that will definitely help you get on the right track of keeping your Fed less toxic. I mean, look at I'm gonna use Chris Knight as an example, and his federation. Um, Whenever I would ever go to one of his shows or look through his Discord, that was one of the least toxic places I've ever seen. And I think a good reason for that is because Chris Knight is one of the most nicest people I've ever met in the community. I mean, if he's got a bad thing to say about you, it's because you've probably done a bad thing. Um, Chris Knight is just that guy. And if you are a great leader like Chris Knight, I don't think you're going to have as much toxicity as you think you're going to have. It all depends on being a great leader and being a nice leader too, and stern when you have to be.
I wanted to ask a question about what could lead to an exodus from pro wrestling, but you've actually obviously answered it. So we're gonna move on.